What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to Vintage and Stuff with Drew Heifetz. Got not one, not two, but three guests today on the show. I got Casey Pitt of Rare Vintage. I got Frank the Tank of, I forget his Instagram. And I got Sean of Shop Monarch. Those homeboys are from the East Coast. We're going to get into lots of stuff about sports jerseys, about how to tell what's worth money, authentics, and a bunch of other good stuff. We're recording this on the night of the Rosebowl in February. It was a pretty rough Rose Bowl. I'm super exhausted while we did this interview, so hope you don't mind me being a little bit tired on this one. But nonetheless, it's pretty rad. The Rose Bowl was rough today. It was super rainy. Crazy poured at about 11:30. Literally, I've been doing the Rose Bowl 15 years and it's only rained a few times, so it was gnarly. Just got these given to me as a gift by a client that came into my office. I'm in my office right now. Spicy squid snacks. Well, here's a close-up. Not really my jam to eat spicy squid snacks out of a Tetra Pak like it's Power Bar gel or something, Power Gel. But thanks for the gift. If you're listening on the podcast, basically I'm holding a little squid pack, a slimy squid spicy pack. Anyway, weird stuff. Okay, I got some news. Okay, I want to talk about the situation in China, the coronavirus, okay? I don't, sure, it's a pandemic. We're probably all going to die. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But, live your life. Be happy anyway. But basically, the bigger picture here is that China is basically shut down right now. China has shut down all factories, all schools. Nobody's gone to work. So, what does this mean? This is crazy. China is basically turned off the tap on the world for production on all the product that we rely on. What do we rely on from China? Basically everything. They make all the clothes in the whole world. They make all the plastic crap that we consume. They make tons of food products. They make everything. So, they said the export's going to continue, but the factories are closed, so if nobody's producing product, they're going to run out of export product pretty fast. But pertaining to the fashion industry, this is an interesting time because 99% of all fashion comes out of China. This means brands that are expecting spring shipments to be floating in, coming through to sell in the spring in America or Canada, they might not get them. So a brand might just not get their whole shipment for spring. And who knows how long this is going to last. They're saying it's only going to be a few weeks before workers go back to the factories. But if the situation gets worse in China, it could be a lot longer than that. There's going to be huge repercussions of this. Made in America, made in Canada is starting to look pretty darn good at this point. Even though the cost is a lot higher, at least we can still get our product. Frankie Collective, we make all our product in-house, so we're fine. Sure, we've made a few things in China, but it's not really going to affect us that bad. But there's going to be a lot of hurting people out there if this thing continues, and if we go into months and months of no production in China, you're going to see the world change pretty fast. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I just thought I'd put that out there because it's been on my mind a little bit. Times are a-changing. What else we got? Well, we recently did a project for Normani for the NBA All-Star Game coming up this Sunday. Hopefully, it's the Sunday the 16th in February. And we made custom outfits for them to go on stage at the NBA All-Star Game. So check that out. Watch the NBA All-Star Game. Watch Normani's performance, and you're going to see a bunch of custom outfits from my brand, Frankie Collective. Shout out to everybody who pulled an all-nighter to make those outfits happen. Also for Sarah for heading down to Cali and hand-delivering those outfits. Yeah. I don't really have any other news. Let's get into it. Had a fun time hanging out with these guys last weekend in Cali. Super good dudes. And keep your eye on them in the future. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Vintage and Soft. We do high fits. Welcome to Vintage
Casey.
Hello.
Thanks for joining me, dude.
Thanks for having me.
You're on the podcast.
It's been a pleasure. I appreciate it.
Vintage and... Do I call it vintage and stuff? Yeah, that's what I call
Vintage
it.
and stuff. Yeah.
Nice. So, I just met you recently.
Internet friends. Will internet people become real friends?
Dude.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
From up north.
And you, I guess I followed you before, but then you became homies with Jace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've known Jace for I've known Jace on the internet for 5 years, but real life.
When did you actually meet him?
Three. I guess it was at Liberty Fairs, August of 2017. So 3 years. Yeah, 3 years in person. Yeah.
So tell us about this Liberty Fairs deal.
So it's like a trade show. It's like a menswear and women's wear trade show.
Have you ever been to it before you sold at it?
I did actually. Yeah, I went, and it was different too when I went.
Why did you go?
I wanted to see what it was about because I knew about Agenda. And I saw my friend Natalie was really into fashion and stuff. She's like, "Oh, Liberty Fairs is in New York. It's like Agenda. Let's go up." So we went up it's a 3-day thing. We went to 2 a day just to kind of meet people, bullshit, whatever.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was cool. They had free drinks.
Was she buying stuff for a store, or she just?
No, she was just into same stuff, vintage stuff, sneakers, blah blah blah. And we just went to meet people. I think Jeff Staple was there.
Yeah.
I think someone was selling vintage. I think it was it might have been Orange Crush back then.
He said been doing it for 15 years. So
yeah, it was probably him because he had patches and stuff. Yeah, it's probably him.
That's cool. So how did you get involved?
So, what was it maybe a year or two after? I had just gotten an email completely randomly from a woman, Katie. Thank you, Katie. And
shout out, Katie.
She was like, "Hey, do you want to go sell vintage in Paris?"
In Paris?
Yeah. And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "What's the what are the stipulations? Yada yada yada." She's like, "Well, it's in a week and a half, and you're good to go. All you got to do is pay for your flights." I was like, "Well, I can't go to Paris in a week and a half's notice. I'd love to go, but
was it based around Fashion Week? Or?
It was Liberty Fairs, yeah, Paris, and then Capsule. It was maybe Capsule Paris, but same company at the time, and it was around Paris Fashion Week. But they were doing their showing there, so they wanted some vintage people. She'd found a bunch of people on Instagram, just reached out and said, "Hey, do you want to be a part of this?" And I was like, "Hey, I'd love to go. I don't have enough time to get my things together, but if you do anything in the future in America or whatever, or give me time for Paris, I'm down." So this was, I guess, June, and then that August, she contacted me and said, "Do you want to do a New York and then eventually a Las Vegas show?" So I did the menswear show in New York, and it was myself and Wyco Vintage, the dudes from Kansas City, next to me. They're cool, really, really cool dudes, Patrick and Adam. And then there was another, I don't know who the other dude was, just another person I don't really know. I don't even know if they sell vintage anymore, but we were doing that. And they asked me if I just would curate Nike stuff. So I brought Nike for that event. And that was
cool. How'd
that
go? Did you find a lot of sick Nike?
Yeah, that was sick. I brought a bunch of old 90s Nike windbreakers and Nike tank tops, t-shirts, stuff like that, cool store displays, Bo Jackson signs, and that was fun.
You just have a lot of that hanging around?
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff.
Sick.
I have a lot of random things in my stash.
Nice, dude.
But yeah, we did that.
What's the randomest thing you have in your stash?
What's the randomest thing? I have one of those Tommy Hilfiger snowboards.
Sick.
I have.
Where'd you find that?
Flea market.
Nice.
Sells
nice $10 or something.
$30, yeah. I saw it flipped upside down, and I saw the corner of my eye, and I knew exactly what it was because of the video game 1080 snowboarding, and that was something you could unlock in the game for N64. So I was like, oh my god, is that the real life version?
Am I in the game?
Yeah. So I ran over and I flipped it over, and I saw the big flag, and I was like, oh my god, how much? And I bought it right away. And I'd heard a rumor that someone else had found one the week before at the same flea market. I guess from the same guy, which is crazy.
No way.
Yeah, so I think there was only a couple hundred of those made. So the odds of two of them.
I wonder if those other kids tried to hit me up for that because people were offering me those boards for a while.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But every time it was $1,000. $1,000, and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I feel like they would sell for $500 or $600, realistically.
Yeah, but also the Tommy hype has kind of died a bit, so maybe it's probably like worth like $50 now.
It's a cool display piece. They had one around too.
No, it is for sure. I like it. Okay, let's rewind. Right. Let's go back to the beginning.
All right.
How'd you get into this?
Birth?
How did you get into this crazy business? We don't need to hear about your birth. Obviously, it worked out because you're here.
Yeah, that's a good thing. My vintage origin, I guess, traces. Well, there's like I feel like there's a lot of roots to it, but mainly it was like through my dad's collecting. Like he collected jerseys, starting lineups, and like was really into like obscure like sports, like the World Football League, the USFL, WHA. Like apparently, when I was a kid, the first thing I knew all the football helmets. Like we had the magnets of all the teams, and I knew all the logos and the teams when I was like, I don't know, like 2 years old, whatever. So like I could tell, I was like, oh, do you know the Cincinnati Bengals? Or like blah blah blah. So like I knew logos and stuff from a young age.
Were you watching sports then?
Yeah, another cool, and this is a cool ties into F as in Frank. The first sporting event I went to was the 1992 NHL All-Star Game in Philadelphia. And you had a hat on your website when I was in college, and I bought that when I was like 19 years old because I was like, oh, I was at that game. I was like,
sick,
and yeah, you had it. It was dope. Hell yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So did it have the teams on it?
It was just the logo 1992 NHL All-Star Game in Philadelphia.
Sick.
So I sat on my dad claims I didn't have a ticket, and like just brought me in the game. And
like you sat on his lap or something?
Yeah, and just sat on his lap, and I was like 2-3 years old. So
nice.
We do a lot of like random sport, like when the Eagles were in the Super Bowl against the Patriots the first time in Jacksonville. Our grandma had a condo down there, so like we went down there for like our whatever, like high school or middle school spring break. And my dad it was like 3 weeks after the Super Bowl. My dad was like, "Oh, like let's go to the stadium. I bet like we can go in the stadium." I was like, "Dad, what are you talking about? Like it's the stadium's closed. Like you can't just go." Like we just go. We like took a taxi down there. We walked into the Jaguar Stadium where the Super Bowl was down there. Literally, we walked on the field. We walked.
This is just like
just walked
random
in.
day though. Nothing's happening.
No, like it was like a Thursday, 3 weeks after the Super Bowl, and like the field was still painted. We like took like the the midnight green from the Eagles end zone. Like we took the actual field, like pieces of the turf, and like we like pretended to reenact the last drive.
Vandalism.
And,
a couple vandals going and fucking ripping up the stadium.
Yeah, my dad's like he's a crazy dude, but yeah, it worked. It was
sick.
cool. Like I was like, yeah, we went there.
Just like starstruck that you're actually getting in.
Yeah.
I remember going to the Rosebowl one day, and you can just walk right in there. It's like not locked up. They're just like, have a time.
Like there's nothing to steal here. Like there's nothing you can do. Like
except for the green.
Bring your foot. Yeah, exactly. Except for the turf. And like we brought it back. Mom was like, oh, they're gonna think it's weed. Like Mom was like, oh my god, it's just turf from the stadium. Like doesn't matter.
Wow.
But yeah, my dad was he collects a big jersey collector and like.
So your dad was a collector.
He still is a collector. I would say, and like that's how I like got into eBay too, because like whenever it happened, 1999ish when it came about, like he was buying jerseys and like starting lineup and stuff like that, and like I would always watch stuff. I was like, Dad, can I buy that? And like go save up some money and.
That's crazy. I had no idea. So your dad is his knowledge pretty deep.
Well, there's it's crazy. So the company Mitchell and Ness is from Philadelphia. It was originally a sporting goods store, like a Modell's or a Dick's, a Sports Authority. And like my dad would get his hockey sticks and like football, whatever shit down there.
Yeah.
And he became friends with the owner, Peter Capolino. And he would basically get like the Eagles game used jerseys at the end of the season and sell them for like $40 or $50, and like the good players like Reggie White, he'd be like $300, whatever. So my dad would like grab jerseys.
So homeboy would get them directly from the stadium.
Yeah, just
put them in the store.
Just put them in the store, and he would have like other jerseys. Like my dad would get all his old football jerseys. Like when he's like 16 years old, 17 years old, and then up until he worked in the city. So when he met my mom, so like into his 20s, so he built like a relationship with Peter. And this is like the story goes again. Peter decided to obviously make retro uniforms. So my dad was in there in a lunch break, and Peter, the store was slow and was in like a bookstore next door and grabbed like an old Sports Illustrated and was like, John, do you think people would buy these old like sports uniforms if I remade them? And my dad was like, I would, but like, sure, like whatever, give it a crack. And then, he had found the old, I think like Cincinnati Reds fabric in a warehouse, and it was similar to the Phillies. So he remade the 1900s Phillies uniforms in the 80s and resold, just made them and sold them in his store. And then that's how he was like the guy that got the sports license going. So did
he make the first round without a license?
Yeah, I believe he did.
Okay.
Because it wasn't like a thing. I don't think it was a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's just like, let's see if
he's
this
like,
works.
yeah, he's like, yeah, let's just do it. Like, whatever, fuck it, yeah. So he did it, and he made the Phillies out of the Reds fabric, and like my dad still has actually one of those jerseys, which is kind of crazy.
And was it branded Mitchell Ness?
It has a little Mitchell and Ness tag, and it's like, wool flannel.
And
like,
is made in America?
Yeah, made in USA. Well, then his next line in the '80s was all made in USA, and that stuff's like really, really good quality, like wool stuff.
Sick.
And that's all like, limited run, made in USA.
So then this guy went on to be Mitchell and Ness.
So yeah, and this guy, Big Rube, became like a promoter and like met Outkast and, every rapper and got them the jerseys. And Peter basically gave him a job, and the store blew up. So everyone was flying, from Atlanta because he only had a store in Philly. So everyone would fly to Philly to get the stuff. And then the NBA All-Star Game was in Philly in 2002. So that was like, boom, everyone was in Philly for the All-Star weekend. So everyone was at Mitchell and Ness. Everyone was there. Like, that was when LeBron's agent got caught stealing or whatever, not stealing, but got caught taking jerseys to give to LeBron. Like, everyone had the throwbacks at that time, and I think that like culmination of that All-Star weekend was kind of crazy because they were all in Philly, and that's where the jerseys were. So it was kind of it's pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And so at that point, 2002, Mitchell and Ness wasn't like distributed worldwide yet, or
they were available at the store, and then I think maybe on like the NBA web, like very, very limited. It wasn't like
because after that point, it was like everywhere. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Then it blew up. He ended up selling the company to like Adidas, Reebok in like 2007, I want to say.
Is this guy still friends with your dad?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to him a couple times. He's awesome. I've talked to him maybe. He took me to lunch before. I went to his house maybe a year or two ago. Like, he's an awesome guy.
And is he just chilling out, retired now? Or
yeah, He eats all the if you look at his Instagram, he eats like crazy meals all the time. He goes to all the Italy, New York every weekend. He's just living it up.
Nice.
But he's excellent. He helps. I know he helps out a lot of people just because he has knowledge. And I don't know if he's still affiliated with the brand, but I know he's like still very passionate about the stuff.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I grew up with that. Like, I remember going to the store as a little kid and like, oh my God, I want to go. And it was, honestly, he took great care of us. Like, I remember I was in middle school and he came down and he was like, told me, because my dad would give him jerseys to borrow for specs. So like, he would give him like an Atlanta Falcons jersey that my dad had in his collection, and he would just take the specs and remake like the good play, like Barkowski or like a good player.
Yeah.
To like remake to resell. So like he would end up be like, yo, just take a jersey, like you and your son, like just take something out. Like, and I was like 14 years old and I would get like the Denver Nuggets, like throwback Alex English or like Urban, and I was like the shit in school. And I was like, and it was free. It was like the coolest shit ever.
Yeah, because the original retail on those two was high, right?
300. Well, yeah, most were 300, and like the Bullets and like the Chargers were like 400 or 500, and like those were like the crazy like the powder blue Chargers and the Washington Bullets, the one LeBron wore.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm never gonna look at those jerseys the same anymore, man.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, like and those ones are like, the cool thing about those is everyone wore them in big sizes. So if you can find some of those in smaller sizes, like they're pretty sought after because no one wore a 40 or 54.
Yeah, it's honestly, I always find them huge, man. Mm-hmm. They're like straight up huge
because everyone has them still sitting around.
That was the era though. It's like where this shit like ridiculous. So tell me about your dad's collection, man. Has he still got it?
Yeah, he's got a bunch of stuff. Like he has like a bunch of like the USFL jerseys. Like he has like. He likes the Oakland Seals, California Seals. He has like a bunch of their hockey jerseys. Like he was always into the obscure random teams.
Okay.
So like that kind of transferred to me. Like I loved like the Atlanta Thrashers. Like the team's not around anymore, but like we went to a game when I was a kid and I saw like the first hat trick in the franchise history when I was a kid in Atlanta. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, so I always liked them. But yeah, he was into all that. And
was he buying and selling all the time, or was he just mostly buying?
He was buying, and it was cool. Like he was crazy. There was like his cousin was friends with like Frank Reich on the quarterback of the Bills, and his buddy had a sporting goods store. My dad's cousin. So he.
What year was that? Frank Reich on the Bills.
94, 95-ish, like early mid-90s.
Okay.
But my dad's cousin did like screen printing, had like a sporting goods store, and like he's like, oh, I'll just get you like an account. Like you don't have to really buy stuff, but like I'll get you an account. You can order from this catalog. So they would like send this like because there was no internet really, so it was like a catalog. It was like New York Islanders, Flyers, blah blah blah. So you could order a jersey, and my dad would get them for the wholesale price, and he would just call it like, hey, this is JP Sports. Can we like get this jersey? Like we just want a couple teams, and we would get it, and it was awesome. And we had like a street hockey team on our old street, And we all had those Fisherman Islanders jerseys because they were like the clearance jerseys, were like $10 a piece. So my dad called in and we all had them. There was like 10 kids on the block that all had these crazy Islanders jerseys.
Serious sports roots, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Like if there's one jersey in your dad's stash that you're like, that's the one. What is it?
Oh, I mean, there's like the Philadelphia Blazers, like WHA, like a classic. It's like a yellow and orange jersey. It's really, really cool. Like Bernie Perrant, the old Flyers goalie, played for them. I'm trying to think of what else. Like, it's a crazy. He's got like Kansas City Scouts.
Where does he keep all these jerseys?
In his closet, like in the closet. My mom, like, we had like a jersey room, like as a kid, like it was like the jersey room, and like it was like the extra bedroom that was just all his jerseys in the closet and all this shit.
Nice.
Like,
when was your first acquisition into this, and when were you like, okay, I'm gonna start buying and now selling?
It was I have a picture, and it's like an old picture, and it's like my first jersey collection. There's like an Elway jersey, like a Favre. There's like 6 or 7 jerseys there, and I was probably like 7 years old. And it was crazy. I have a picture, just like they were all like laid out on my bed. I was like, why don't I have those? But like every year for Christmas, I was like, I want a hockey jersey. So like my uncle or my parents were like, oh, okay, you get a hockey jersey for Christmas. And I remember there was like a year in it was like 3rd grade or 4th grade, and it was like International Day, so you picked like a country to be, and I was like, I'll pick Canada, because like if I pick Canada, my costume can be a hocky jersey, so then I can get a hockey jersey. So I got an Ottawa Senators jersey.
Wow, you are diehard, dude.
Yeah. I was like, this is an excuse to get a jersey.
That's wild.
Yeah, that was dope.
So, what do you think of what is it, the AAFL now, the American football, or the AFL?
XFL is back. I didn't watch. I saw a star this weekend.
You think this is going to be a good thing? You think it's going to go?
Maybe, because I don't think there's arena football anymore. So maybe. I think it could. People will watch football. The NFL's over.
So they're going to run it like all different seasons.
Yeah, it's going to exactly like the USFL was back in the day, like the old football league. The Trump-esque league.
Okay.
The league Trump ruined.
So, I want to get into details of jerseys, man.
All right.
Like, explain how you authenticate, say, like what makes an authentic hockey jersey?
So, all right. So,
explain to someone who, like, would have no idea.
So, we'll go, like, deep into, jerseyology.
Yes,
Jerseyology right now. So, there's multiple types. So let's just say there's a Philadelphia Flyers jersey. So you got a retail replica jersey, right? So that's like the basic, like back in the day, $60, $75 to $100 jersey. Now they're like probably $120, $125.
And this is like the bottom of the line.
This is like the bottom of the line. But like, again, with a hockey jersey, you're getting like a better crest. Like a football jersey, you're not getting like a sewn on detail. So we could... Yeah. There's different sports, so we can get really...
we'll go into that.
We can go really deep.
Start with hockey.
We'll start with hockey. So they got a retail Flyers jersey, and then you've got a retail authentic jersey. So that's going to be like a thicker weight, and it's going to have a fighting strap in the back. And then you're going to have... Those are the jerseys available to the public, so you can buy those like at the team store, on the internet, whatever.
Yeah, and you're talking like the baseline, like 100, 120, and then the authentic with the fight strap, they're like in the 3, right?
They're like 300, right? And now I know like the new baseball jerseys, these Nike ones are like $400 or $500, which is crazy.
Wow! And you can get them both like blanks or with like team or with the players, right?
Yeah, like blank, or like they'll have options to either like make a jersey, like customize it through the team store, or they'll have like the top players available on deck.
Explain a fight strap.
So the fight strap, yeah, exactly. So in hockey you can fight. So there's a strap in the jersey that attaches to your hockey pants. So when you're in a fight, you want to try to put the opponent's jersey over their head so they can't see, so you can keep beating their ass down. And so like that attaches to the pants, so that's a part of the jersey.
Yeah, so that's basically sewn on the back, inside the back of the jersey, and it hangs down. It's a Velcro little strap. You can't miss it. It attaches to the belt.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's preventative measure for fighting.
Getting your jersey pulled over your head, and then you get knees and uppercuts to the face.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So then you're going to have... So then there's the actual team there's got the actual team, the Philadelphia Flyers. So they're going to issue jerseys to the actual players on the team. And I'm trying to think of what the specifics... Let's say they'll get maybe like now I'm sure they get way more. Back in the day, they probably only got like 2 or 3 sets a year, maybe. And now the card companies like cut up jerseys. So I have no idea the sets they get. Maybe let's say 10, 15 sets of jerseys a year, home, away, alternate. So they'll issue that to the player, Claude Giroux or whoever, the player is a team. Then they'll actually wear some of those jerseys in the game. So that's a game worn jersey. But some of these, they also will have extra jerseys that didn't get customized for the players to wear on the ice. So that will be a stock that can get moved by equipment managers on eBay or the secondary market. So like jerseys from the pro cut from the team will actually like leak out to the secondary market. And those will have like different markings or different sizings in the jersey. So they'll indicate it's a different style of jersey.
Yeah, so these game issue or team issued jerseys will have different size tags because usually people are like larger dudes a lot of the time. So it'll be like
with pads,
like a 44 tall versus like whatever, and it'll have like an extra sewn in tag, and you can usually tell because the tag is like obviously extra.
Right, exactly.
And so what you're saying is that, like, obviously the game worn ones are the best. If a jersey gets actually worn in a game, it has the most value. It's like you can you can like find where it was played. Then there's some that were issued to a player but never played in.
Right. So and then there's exactly. And then there's issued jerseys that just wind up
never even got
to the player,
issued to a person.
Right. And then these can be customized on the secondary market, or sometimes like the team. Like, I know the Eagles would do that, like, sell them at the end of the year, or, like, the Packers. Like, when Brett Favre retired for the Packers, they like, customize a shitload of pro cuts and just set, like, different sizes and just sell them at the pro shop. So, like, those are awesome because for, like, a person that wants to wear or collect it, like, you can get a pro cut jersey essentially the same, better than a retail authentic for a better, you're not paying, like, $2,000 or $10,000 for, like, Brett Favre's game-worn jersey. You're getting, like, almost the shit that he would wear on the field for a better price. And, like, that's like another, innuendo of the collectible market, which is kind of cool. That's like nudged its way in there because like you can get a jersey that's customized pretty well or from the right people, and then there's like one like back in the day, like the hockey store in Canada or around me, like we'll throw a number on your jersey, like you could get that done.
For sure.
So you get it done, but obviously like there's companies that specialize in that now, and then like all the teams. It's really cool. I have like a hockey book, and like all the teams have like specific customers that or specific companies that would customize their jerseys for them. So it was cool. Yeah. And then and there was just different manufacturers too, specifically for like the NHL. Like it wasn't always CCM or it wasn't always Reebok, Adidas. Like there was multiple. Like Nike did the Oilers jerseys when Gretzky played because they wanted to have the swoosh on the back of his jersey.
See, that's another weird sports specific thing too. Is that like certain sports had multiple licensing agreements, but then certain sports had singular licensing agreements. Right.
And like even like the merch, like in the NFL, there was a logo athletic jacket and a starter jacket, and a logo athletic hat, starter hat, sports specialty. There were so many.
So many, yeah.
And now it's Nike or one, Nike.
They monopolize it. Yeah.
Nike's MLB now.
With NBA, Champion had that contract for how many years, and they made everything, right?
Yeah, well, NBA Champion did like all the replicas, but NBA did have like Puma starter. Who else? Nike did game jerseys. Who else am I forgetting now? Reebok, Adidas, Sandknit before that, like Spalding,
Sandknit,
like Wilson, like a bunch of other companies.
If you go way back.
Yeah, exactly. So like it wasn't always just Nike and just all the champ. It was cool though. I liked it because even like in the NFL, like they would always have a different logo on the side of the jersey, which was cool. Like you could see that on TV, like, oh, the Seahawks have a Puma or the Eagles have
it helps the market.
Yeah,
being a little bit different everywhere because otherwise everyone's just wanting to go by Nike all the time. So what about like another sport like football? How do you tell?
Football is different. Most of the football jerseys are sold at retail with like a player on it too. So it's like football had
basically you have like the baseline is like
it's
like a press on number versus a stitched on number. Right?
Yeah, well they have like the swingman variation. Now I'm not even sure what it's called, but like so I guess what year was it? Like 99, 2000 Nike. I think technically Starter introduced it like before it, but Nike really capitalized it was like the swingman. So it was like an intermediate between the replica and the authentic jersey. So like the swingman came into play, and it was like it looks like it's a sewn on number, and like one layer is sewn on. But if it's like a 2-color number, it's actually like if you look, it's like painted on the sewn on number. but it's like a higher quality replica.
So they're like, we'll make it look great, but give it to you for cheaper.
Exactly. Like, it's still like the replica would have been 60, Swingman 100, authentic.
How many jerseys do we need out
There's
here?
a lot of jerseys. That's what people don't. Yeah, there's a lot of jerseys.
So how do you tell a gamer in football?
Football wise, the cut really thin, and why you'll see it should jump out immediately with like the cuffs and the length of them, but they'll have like a tag, like year tag on some of them, or extra length, or like a player number or size on the collar or on the bottom tag.
Yeah, and it's like they have like a elastic in the sleeve too, right?
And it'll be like,
Can you buy at the store an elastic sleeve jersey?
It'll have like now the replicas or the authentics at retail do have like it has an elastic thing, but like for like some players, like they're really jammed up there, like they're cut for the shoulder pads, so like you really even see like it's a goofy looking thing, you know what I mean? It's very goofy. It's not like you wouldn't really want to wear that as a think about like in high school when the football players were walking on the high school and they had those big thick cuffs, and it looked awkward when they were wearing their jerseys, like they were meant to have shoulder pads underneath them.
What about the other sports? What about NBA? How do we tell them? How do we tell the gamers?
NBA game. I mean, that's usually like a tag at the bottom with a year or extra length, or sometimes
they say like set, right? Like set 1 of 2. Or
set 1 or 2, exactly. That's what I was talking about earlier too. Like the set, like there might be 3 sets given out to the team.
And then, sometimes they have like locker numbers on them or something, so that people know where to put them when they're washed.
They might have that maybe for like the warm up pants or something like that, or like the shorts. And not different teams, I'm sure, have different equipment managers that have a different system for managing how they put their stuff back or wash it.
Yeah, true enough.
That'd be an interesting job to do. LeBron's jockstrap.
We don't need to get into that. The
vintage jockstraps on the topic.
Seriously,
for another day.
We talked about that on Zach's podcast. Apparently, he found a bunch.
Yeah, he put me on game. I don't think I'm ever.
Oh, you weren't privy to that before.
Yeah, some things I want to forget. Zach's great. Finally met Zach in person, and he's a lovable guy.
Yeah, he is. He's a great guy.
Man. Big old teddy bear. Great time. And Wes too. Shout out Wes.
Hopefully those guys made it home safe tonight.
They should be pulling up any minute now, unless they detoured for a buffet or chicken nuggets.
Oh, that definitely happened.
Macaroni and cheese.
Happened. So what's your all-time jerseys, man? What have you like that you have or that you picked?
All-time favorite. I mean, the cool.
Do you keep anything at this point?
Yeah, I have like I'm trying to hone down. Like I have like a Sixers Pro Cut and Gamer collection, like Charles Barkley stuff, random like hip hop groups and stuff I listen to. I have a lot of. I don't know, like the cool gamer find was in a random Goodwill. I'm just looking around and I do a lap and I just look in the women's dresses and I see like an Eagles sleeve peeking out. I found like a game worn Eagles player, like Thomas Taipei was like a fullback, so like a decent player, but a game worn jersey in the women's dresses for $4.
Check the women's dresses, people.
So that was a huge score, and that
people sleep on that, and they sleep on checking the kids section. You can find crazy small sizes in the kids section.
Yeah, well, and you just anytime you go to a thrift store, you don't know who's working and how lazy they are. They put stuff anywhere. You gotta if you want to put in the time, you might find more stuff. I don't know.
Or if there's just a customer who's like, I don't want this, and they're just
exactly. So how many times have you walked to the front of a store and seen just a gem sitting right at the gate because someone left it behind? It's just sitting there for you to take.
Totally,
it's a good feeling. It's like extra.
So you sold that one or you kept it?
I sold that one. I tried.
What that one go for?
That was only like $250.
What's the most you ever sold a jersey for?
A couple. I had the He Hate Me XFL jerseys, which were dope. I had a couple. I have one in the personal collection that was like a pro cut, sold for like $1,000. I want to say.
Nice.
But that was there's some things I don't want. You'll put a number on it, I don't want to sell this, but if someone wants to pay it, more, and it's kind of not like a I'll see what happens type thing, but if they want to buy it, they can buy it. I don't really want to let it go, but
yeah,
people buy it.
Well, that's cool, man.
Everything's replaceable.
Get your money
in a sense, I guess.
We've always been, I'm not the sports guy at all, but I've always found lots of good jerseys, and I had to educate myself on jerseys, and I think there's not enough people or not enough the pickers these days are really educating themselves on it. They just don't know what they have, or they don't take the time to learn. But sports fans are fucking fanatic, man.
It's crazy.
One of the best markets out there, and it is never going anywhere. It fluctuates with what players are doing, but it's always going to be popular.
Exactly. Like we were talking about this earlier at like lunch. The 49ers jackets, like when they were in the Super Bowl a couple of weeks ago, like you couldn't sell those for $100, $150, 4 or 5 months ago, and they were going for like $300, $400. I've seen people posting sold listings for like $500. Like it's just all the timing and what people want, and if it's an area that is affluent and wants to buy them to wear at the game or at the time of the Super Bowl, they're going to spend money. Like it happened with Kobe right now. Like,
how do you feel about that? Because everyone's been throwing shade on people selling that stuff right now.
It's crazy, and like the thing is, like there's certain levels. So like Kobe's always been a collectible and like marketable item. Like people don't understand like the good thin shoulder champion jerseys always went for like $100, $150. Like they're good jerseys. Lakers fans are loyal and they look good. And they didn't make that many until they switched to those wide shoulder jerseys. The Nike Authentics in like a 40 or 44 are always good because you have the international market and they love Kobe Bryant. Like I think out of any player that I've grown up with, I think he's the most marketable international NBA player I've seen. So I think that connection is global.
More than Jordan?
It's different because I think he came up more with social media and stuff like, I think Jordan probably wasn't as big in China. Like Stephon Marbury went to China and was huge. Like, and he was decent. He was a pretty good NBA player, but went there and he was like a god. He's got like a statue. So like they love basketball there. So I think his reach like is very global. And the Lakers are the Yankees, big franchise. So I think that they have a lot of people out there that are watching them. So I think that plays.
But so what do you think about people jumping the prices though?
I don't know.
It's a $150 jersey like 2 weeks ago, and now it's like a $500 jersey.
The thing about the wide shoulder thing that bothers me because like, oh my god, it's like they're like going for like $300, but like I don't have any right now. I got some this weekend, but I don't know what to do. Like I want to do something positive with it. If it's
what have you seen the standard champion?
The good champion. Someone was at Rosebowl was selling one for $250, and I saw him going for like $300. Like after he passed, and like the Authentics would always go for like. Shit, I mean, every time I sold for like $400 or $500, regardless, like before he passed away, and I sold one that was like I saw one on eBay that was like poorly customized. It was like authentic. That was still poorly customized. They go for like $800 or $900. Like the good ones, $800 or $900. Someone had a fake authentic at the Rose Bowl for $400 today. Like the fakes were going for money after. Like just people don't know.
It's just a frenzy, man.
And then Mitchell and Ness sold out, so like they have the license to remake the new ones, and they're going to be sold out. For several months until they make more. So I think people are just jumping to grab something. I don't think the wide shoulders are going to be $300 forever. I think that's going to
no. This will die down because it always does.
Yeah, if you want to spend $300, you can get a Mitchell and Ness jersey, and that's a good jersey. So like they're not going to spend that on a wide shoulder. So that I think that market will die down. But I think the good champion, the Nike Authentics, will stay high.
Yeah,
I think
So you said you got wrap tees.
Rap, yeah. I'm not like my sister, like shout out to my sister Caroline. She's a biggest record. She has the sickest hip hop record collection.
Really?
Oh my god, she's got the craziest.
Is she older
shit.
Or younger than you?
Younger, but like more mature. I don't know. Like, we're like a year and a half ish. I don't know, a year and 10 months apart.
That's pretty close.
But we're like essentially like twins, pretty much. Yeah. She has like crazy like hundreds and like really rare shit. Like she spent good money.
And is this something she was collecting for a long time?
Yeah. Like she's always like we've always been into like hip hop since like we've been like 12, 13, 14 years old. Like from the suburbs, just like listening to like starting with like Dipset and like Young Jeezy and that stuff, and then like getting into like Mos Def, MF Doom, like to live to like really deep stuff.
So that's the kind of stuff you collect T-shirts of.
Yeah, like I have like high tech and to live quality shirts. Like I have a sick ass Cameron shirt. I'm trying to think of like other. I have like some G Unit shirts, a Joel Santana shirt.
Nice.
I really want an Erykah Badu shirt. That's like I love Erykah, but she's like my favorite.
Yeah, we've had a few, but not very often.
Yeah, they're a little pricey. I have like a tank. I have a tank top from the Mama's Gun. That's like my favorite, like one of my favorite albums. Like I've seen like the regular length one. I had this sick ass like Called Tyrone shirt, and it was like XL, but it fit like a tank, like a belly shirt. It was like one of those terrible fitting shirts, and it was like an awesome shirt, but I couldn't wear it. And I was like, what am I gonna do with this? Like,
Pass it on.
I know.
Give it to your sister, man.
Yeah, trust me. I'm bringing home some stuff. I got like a Del the Funky Homo Sapien like hieroglyphic shirt out here.
Hell yeah, I got a Del shirt, dude. I love Del.
She's gonna try to take that.
That's tight.
Yeah, so I like that stuff, and yeah, she's got crazy. I got some records, but not like her. Got like the Fish That Saved Pittsburgh vinyl. I don't know if that's a good old movie that Julius Erving was in.
What about the Pittsburgh Heroes? What about R.I.P. Mac Miller?
Yeah, we got our lives crossed paths.
Did they?
A little bit, yeah. Because I went to the school at Duquesne in Pittsburgh during like him and Wiz.
So like he would have been like your age, right?
He was a little younger than me, but I remember going to see him at Shadow Lounge. Now it's since closed down multiple times, but the first time he was opening up for Currency, and I was a freshman or sophomore at Duquesne, so I was like 18 or 19, maybe 20 years old. And so I think he was a senior in high school at the time.
Okay.
Junior or senior in high school, and he was opening up. And he was outside, like my homie Abe and I, like smoked a cigarette with him, like just, I don't smoke cigarettes, but Abe smoked a cigarette or whatever. Yeah. He smoked, and we just, kicked it with him. Like,
Mom's listening. Yeah. Don't talk about smoking cigarettes.
My mom smoked cigarettes, and she got hypnotized. She doesn't smoke.
It worked?
Yeah, it worked.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, we kicked it with him. He was super nice, and like, he was very young. But I had
This was before he blew up.
Before he blew up, this is when like the Kids mixtape I think had just come out, so it was like, or no, it was the Highlight before Kids.
Okay.
So that had just come out, and like in Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh is a small town, so like everyone like knew about him, and like especially Wiz Khalifa too. Like when I got to college, Say Yeah was like blowing up, so like Wiz was like popping.
Yeah.
So he came up, and then set like another. I guess the next year.
How does that kind of thing affect the city, man?
Oh, it was crazy. I mean, the energy of them coming up was really like living in Philly and Pittsburgh. We can get into that later, but Philly and Pittsburgh are two different vibes. But
yeah.
Pittsburgh really came together just to support them. It was really cool. I think that's how they got national notoriety, just because all the local shows were sold out. And like I remember one time it was the big ass snow. My sophomore year was the big ass snowstorm that like it was 2009 that like shut down the city for like a week. But they performed on a Friday night at a University of Pitt frat house. Wiz Khalifa and Mac Miller performed at the frat house, and I got to go with my friend. Yeah, it was 100 people.
Like last minute announcement show?
Yeah, and in the snowstorm, they showed up in this crazy ass snowstorm, and like it was just in a frat, it was a nicer frat, like the Pitt frat house on the top of the hill. It was really nice, but they performed there, like it was awesome. It was so dope. Wiz had like a Supreme, like the Trooper hat on, and like Raptor 7s, and like I forget what Mac was wearing, but it was cool. Like Wiz was like on his shit back then, and I remember like Wiz was smoking weed on the stage, and like my friend Abe and I were like, we gotta get like his roaches, and like we ended up getting like 3 of his roaches and his lighter. I still have his lighter, but we got his lighter, and we took him back to the dorms, and our other buddy was like a big Wiz fan, like ripping out the bomb and shit. That was cool. And I saw his lighter, which is really dope. But then Mac was involved with my buddy's clothing brand Daily Bread in Pittsburgh. Okay. So like he would always be around like the store. Like he did an event, like a signing of the store, and his friend Bill, I gave him some jerseys. Like he got a couple of jerseys from me. Our buddy Chew was like a rapper. Chew Jackson is a rapper from Pittsburgh and Chambersburg, and he was on tour with Mac. And I went to a show in Philly. I gave him the Gin and Juice jersey he rocked on stage, and a Steelers hat he rocked on tour, which was dope.
Sick.
We got to kick it with them.
Yeah, like cool. I never met Mac Miller, but he came to the warehouse when I was away, unfortunately. Couple times I think he came, and we would give him snapbacks. He was big an instrument in like making snapbacks. Yeah, for sure.
We were just talking about that at dinner because there all the spots in Pittsburgh. He was getting them there. They had all this dope ass sports specialties, hats, and he was getting all the Penguin stuff just right in the city, which was cool.
That was probably huge for like making it blow up, man.
Oh yeah, and he was rocking really cool vintage, and I'm sure he was getting it from like Avalon Exchange and like a store on Squirrel Hill where he's from, and they would always have cool jerseys. I got like Bape in there before, like really cool vintage shit.
When he came, he picked up a lot of gear from us. He bought like the Stadium Plates jacket that he wore on stage.
Yeah, that
was like in a few of like the famous photos.
Yeah.
And he bought like some of the Adidas Olympic sweatshirts. He spent a lot, man.
Yeah, he was cool.
I'll tell you about celebrities because most of the time they're a fucking huge pain in the ass because they come to your spot. I don't know if you deal with many.
Some.
But they want to come and they're like, they come in, they're like, they make a huge pile of gear and then it's like a 50-50 chance if they're going to want to pay for it.
Right, exactly.
And then you're like, oh, fuck, who's this guy? You want free shit again? You're balling out of control and you want me to give you free clothes.
Right.
It's ridiculous. But Mac was like straight up. He's like, picked a ton of gear. Fucking 3 on the credit card. Let's go.
Let's go. Run it.
Because I've had some times, like we had, I'm going to call him out. Raekwon.
Oh, the chef.
Brings like 5 of these entourage to the warehouse. Makes the biggest pile of shit you've ever seen. And then he expects everything for free.
Oh.
And you know, he was into like...
Polo.
Yeah, what was that jacket that he made famous?
The Snow Beach.
Snow Beach,
Snow Beach, yeah.
So we had one, and he wanted that for free. And we're like, bro,
that's $4,000.
sorry, we can't give you this jacket. So we gave him a few things, but...
Oh, my God.
Yeah, wild times, man.
I mean, he's a great. Like, you can't
He is a
deny
great.
that, but...
He's a great.
The
It was
influence
cool
now.
to meet him. So, you just came out to California, man. We're sitting in the Sagamore Hotel right now.
Yeah, the fame. I've seen it in the videos on the internets and stuff.
There you go, man. It's on the internet.
Yeah, our buddy Sean's like geeked out. He's like, we gotta stay at the side next time. Like, we need the full Rosebowl experience. Like,
Yeah,
I'm with
that
it.
was so random. Your
yeah.
buddy Sean, he's sitting at the front of
Yeah.
the hotel, and I come skating by. Are you your high fits? So I want the East Coast, West Coast vibes, man. East Coast versus West Coast. What do you got for me?
It's different. So this is like the second time I've been to LA in my life. The first time was like 4 years ago, and I've been to San Francisco like twice.
Did you come out the first time to do business, or did you just come to chill?
When LA, I came out to LA, I think it was 4 years ago. It was literally like a month after round 2 opened. So they opened like in September, and I was out in October for my birthday.
Okay.
And my buddy just went to USC grad school, so I like came out and just like went out for my birthday and Halloween, whatever, and just did a lot of picking. No, I didn't get to go. The Rosebowl was not going on that weekend, so I just went to a bunch of stores. Went there, obviously. That's why I met Sean. Like, I only met Sean one time for like whatever, talked for like 20 minutes there and whatever Instagram things, but
Yeah.
that's it. And then I hit a bunch of stores, did some picking, actually got a dope ass like Sixers the $150 sports specialty script from was it from For All the Envy? One of the stores down there on La Brea.
Well, it's For All the Envy, or it was his partner store. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget the name.
And still.
Yeah.
Well, that was.
But are they gone now? Are they still there?
I think they're gone. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Yeah.
Anyway, so what's the vibe though, man?
It's cool. It's definitely way different, and like in life sense and vintage sense.
In either.
Life sense is definitely like more laid back, but like the traffic out here is like crazy. Like I don't know how you'd have to plan your day around like getting places an hour
you get
early.
Stuck, man. Middle of the day, lunchtime,
Yeah.
traffic's fucked.
Yeah, and like the smog is kind of crazy. Like I didn't realize that. Like it's like it like affects you. You know what I mean? Like you can feel it. Like and you see it in the sky. I was like, damn. Like I didn't expect that at all. Like that was kind of a trip.
Yeah, if the winds aren't going the right way.
Yeah.
So you don't get any of that shit back east, eh?
No, I mean it's pretty nice. Like clean and like it's cool. Like where I live in Philadelphia or outside Philadelphia, but like you can go into the country like Lancaster, Harrisburg, up to Erie, down to Baltimore, DC, or the Jersey Shore, New York. Like you can go a lot of areas, so you can get like beach to country. It's cool. You can get different styles, climates, which is nice. But I don't know
What about the vintage vibes? What about the picking vibes?
the picking. I feel like everything is obviously like more expensive, and like today was my first Rosebowl, so that was a very interesting experience too. But it's definitely more people, more competitive, but more stuff out here. I think as well. Like I was saying earlier, like everyone had a Tupac shirt at Rosebowl. Like we don't barely ever see Tupacs on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Like that was mindful. Like mindful.
I mean, and like how many stores are there in Philly, like vintage shops?
There really aren't many. Like there's not really many vintage stores per se. Like on South, like this dude just opened a store called The Shop, which is dope. Mad cool people's, like good people's, and then like Billy the Golden Bear, he is like a little showroom store. Other than that, like there's like,
and are they comparable to what you get out here? Like, is it like a lot of good T-shirts, or is it?
It's like it's weird. Like the styles are different. Like definitely different styles. Like I feel like people are more into like sports. They're into like the hype beast stuff, like the Supreme stuff, the base stuff. But like people really aren't in stores. They aren't spending hundreds of dollars on a T-shirt. Like you couldn't put a $700 Marvel shirt in a store and feel like people. I need that. Like it's just. I don't know. It's just not the vibe. It hasn't caught up to. It's not New York. Like New York and Philly are different. Like it's definitely totally different vibes. Which like New York is, bright lights, big city. And Philly's a toned down version.
What were you expecting of the Rose Bowl?
I tried to keep an open mind. We got there really early at like 4:30. So like again, like when I go to the flea, I don't necessarily like some fleas I'll go to early and different if it's somewhere different. But I never get there like where it's dark and like people are still setting up. Like I like to get to a flea and you can browse and see stuff. But the thing that was tripping to me is at a flea market back home, I see out of the corner of my eye like a Eagle starter jacket or like a Metallica tee, like a bright all over print tee hanging off the end of the rack. So I run up and go grab it, and it's not going to be, I don't expect it to be more than like $20 for a t-shirt or 5, 10, 15, 20, and then a jacket like 30, 40 max. But like here, you go up and the t-shirt's like 300 or the jacket's like 225. So like you're almost scared to approach booths because you know that there's going to be taxed. And like so many people have so many things and they're not going to sell. And I feel like most people weren't really that flexible to work with it. And it was like, dude, I'll give you cash right now on the spot. Like, you know what I mean? And if I'm buying for personal, it's one thing, but if I'm buying it to resell, like I can't buy something for 60 that I want to sell for, $75. Like it's tough. I'm used to getting it for a better price. So it was different. And obviously more people out here, like tons of people.
Yeah.
New territory to guide yourself, like, getting acclimated with sellers and like obviously like certain sellers are coming back.
When you roll up to your flea back home, like do they have like swaps and stuff that you hit all?
Yeah, there's a bunch of flea markets in like the area, like there's New Jersey, Philly, Delaware, Maryland, like New York.
You got regulars that you'll hit now, like the sellers and
the
clothing guys.
I know the guy actually, like this is kind of, I just lost my best dude, my man R.I.P. Shep, like
he died.
Yeah, he died. He's been fighting pancreatic cancer for 2 years, and like it was awesome that I got a call 2 summers ago. My buddy was at the flea. He's like, Shep's not here. I heard he has cancer, and I was like, kind of teared up. I was like, oh my god, like I hope he's all right. I want to like see him. So he was out the rest of that year, and then he had come back the spring and summer of the other year. So he was, he had lost a lot of weight, but he was my guy, like literally my guy. Like always would like bust it up with him for like good 20 minutes, just like, and not even just like about stuff, just like life, like talking about like women or just like sports, just literally anything, just like this is what you gotta do, man. Yeah, exactly. Like I would consider him a friend, like a genuine friend. And
sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, so I went to his funeral and like I got to hear some incredible stories from like closer family and friends and like a lot of people from the flea. And he was like a big bin guy, so like a lot of people were there, and it was cool. I mean, he was all like, I'll never forget the first time I found his. This was a long time ago, so like it was. This isn't like I have millions of stories, but like I was like I moved back to Philly from Pittsburgh, and I was like basically like trying to find like routes to thrift and flea markets, yada yada yada, or actually just thrifts. So I planned to go down a new route, and I went to a Goodwill, boom, and then on the way to another Goodwill, I passed like an old mom and pop sneaker store. And just, out of the blue, discovered that and, like, saw, like, a Nike swoosh and a Jordan, like, got a gang and cool dead stock sneakers and T-shirts and yada, yada, yada. And, like, that's a cool spot I went to. Then on the way, or then the next spot was a Goodwill. And that ended up being the bins. And, like, I didn't know, this was, like, 8, 9 years ago. I didn't know what bins were. So, like, I was like, whoa, this is a crazy-ass place. Like, what's going down here? Like, people with carts and running over. So like then I saw that, and then I would like back then I would have hit like Ross and like TJ Maxx.
So did you pick the bins that day?
Yeah, I did pick the bins. Like I stayed for a little bit because I didn't really understand the concept, but like I just dug around because then they like flipped them and shit, and like I didn't know what was going on. Like it was at the time. I mean, at the time I was like, whoa, what is this? Like, but it was cool. I think I probably found like a T-shirt or like a jersey, and then the next spot on my list, like I would go on Google Maps. Next spot on my list was like a Ross because I would hit Ross's and TJ Maxx's back then because I would find authentic jerseys or shorts.
Hell yeah!
And I ended up finding the flea market, and it was just driving through the parking lot to the way to the Ross, and I saw like jerseys on the fence. Boom! I got parked, and on the way to those other jerseys, I ran into Shep, seen this stand, and he had a gang of jerseys, and I got like a Pippen champion jersey, like a Lakers Peyton authentic, a couple other things, but like I'll never forget that. And like boom.
Then you guys
that was like 7 years, 7 or 8.
And he always would have stuff.
Yeah, we'd always have stuff.
So this guy was like a bin all week and then hit the flea market on the weekend.
Exactly. He would hit the bins. He would go to like 2 flea markets in the area, and then like people at the bins would throw him stuff. And I think he would like pick the flea market for like.
We have vintage too, or just jerseys or everything?
He would have like he would like sell like a lot of boots and stuff to like the Hispanic people.
Work boots, like uniform shit.
Uniform boots, like cowboy boots and like hats and like work like stuff like that, like work boots and like what are like the Dansko stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then he would do like jerseys, like star jackets, like he would have like camo, cool stuff. He would sometimes have like a cool T-shirt in there, like every once in a while. But like jersey wise, definitely like I found like cool ass like pro cuts and stuff with him, and like gang of sick authentics and like dead stock stuff. Like, and he would always show love on the prices and stuff. And like I think I would enlighten him on the stories behind the jerseys of the players too. Just like, and like he'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that guy, and yada yada yada. It was cool. Like, and when he was an Eagles fan, so when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, it was like, it was crazy. It was.
What
awesome.
Year was that?
2017.
Oh, it was recent, eh?
It was recent, yeah.
Nice.
Finally, it was a great time. It was like a 2-year list. People are still partying. It's like a crazy party.
So what's your supply like now that Chef's gone? Who do you got?
I have I pick like crazy. I'm like a maniac. Like I do a lot of picking on my own. Like just I do everything like you can imagine. Like from flea market, thrift store, Craigslist, estate sale, blah blah blah, like anything. So I'm just a maniac, and I'll go around. My sister and I like to do it to get like she sells on Poshmark, like Lululemon and stuff, like random stuff like that.
Lululemon kills it, dog.
Yeah, like Patagonia and Lily Pulitzer, stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, so like we do that. Like we'll hang out together and go thrifting and whatnot. So that's fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Give me your best conspiracy theory, man.
Oh no. I don't know, man. I'm trying to think. Like, Tupac might be alive.
I appreciate a good conspiracy.
I don't know. I think Tupac. I don't know. Maybe like it's.
What about Elvis?
I don't know. See, I didn't dig much into the Elvis story, but maybe.
So what's the story behind Tupac?
Well, I remember just deep in the diving in, like there was some things about like the BMW, like the spoke, like there was 2 different sets of rims. Like witnesses say it was like one was spoke rims and one was like a standard set of rims. So, like. And the car that was impounded was different, they were saying. So I think there was like some... And I don't know if there was a body at the funeral. There was like a couple... And people said they'd seen him in islands. And there's a lot of tracks. Like, he says like G-Unit on tracks that came out. Like, G-Unit wasn't around when he was alive. Like, I don't know. You never know. I don't know. Hey, anything could happen.
I love it.
People, and then what the Machiavelli?
Yeah, I'm gonna be on Google all night.
Machiavelli, right? Machiavelli wanted to fake his own death. He was famous for that. So what he always say, Machiavelli. I don't know. Who knows?
Fucking rights.
That would be badass if someone did that too.
That would be badass. How are we gonna find Tupac though?
We need to sell more T-shirts. Come back and license yourself to make T-shirts. Let's print them on vintage blanks. We'll sell them at Rosebowl for $4.50.
Okay, I'm on a life mission now. New life mission. What else? What else you got?
I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think. It was
aliens.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We're the only people around, or only things around. We're small fish in a big pond.
It is pretty crazy. So, do you think we landed on the moon?
I don't know. That's another thing. Yeah, I've heard about that kind of stuff too. Like, yeah, that could be another thing. Like, maybe maybe not. Like, I'd heard that what it was like they faked it for TV.
Yeah, dude. I researched the shit out of that, dude. It looks so fake.
Damn. I gotta watch that now.
Oh, dude, get into it. You'll go down a deep dark hole.
Down a deep dark hole of conspiracy. Yeah, that's something I don't want to go down one day.
Are you comfortable to talk about the throwback story?
What story? About him, his former partner?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's out there, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, I never met him, but I'm like Mike's like one of my best friends, so I would like, and he's a great dude, so
yeah.
I know that, should I say names, or is that like me? I don't want to like start any beef, or I don't know. I've got respect.
It's a true story. We're not
Will. And again, I never met him, but he seems like a nice dude and everything. He worked for Mike, and then he was like Mike's main, I think he was like Mike's main picker and main supplier. And one day he just told Mike he wanted to quit. He was quitting, and I don't know if he gave him a reason or not. But then, like a few days later, it wasn't like more than less than a week that he opened his own shop.
So, like, it obviously had been way preconceived.
Right, exactly.
He's planning it for months and months and months.
Yeah, you don't just like, hey, I'm going to open a store and I got it refurbished and I got inventory priced out and it's ready to open.
And was it like in the same hood?
No, it's like around. It's not too far away. I think it's like maybe like New York. I don't know, it's like a mile away. I want to say probably like closer to around 2 New York.
Yeah,
around there. Yeah. So yeah, he opened his own store, and then like I know Mike. See, like Mike's the type of guy who's very loyal. So he was like very hurt that someone would do that because he looked. Yeah, I know he was like involved in Mike's wedding. One of his best, I believe his best man or one of his best men. And he was like hurt about it. Like I feel bad because Mike, like he just wants the best for everyone. So I don't know if Will wanted.
Yeah, I met. He seems like a great guy when I met him. He's like a caring dude. And
I feel like if Will wanted to open his own store, he could just be like, "Hey, I want to open my own store." It's like, and he could have been like, "Yeah, let's do your thing."
Going about it in more like business fashion.
Yeah, like I feel like in the like this, it's only clothing. Like I feel like there's a lot of like random beefs in the vintage clothing industry.
Oh man, so many beefs, dude.
And I try to like kind of like neutral. Like I feel like in Philly, like we're kind of cool. Like because I don't come out here much. So like, and I know like
there's no inter-Philly beefs.
Not there's like a one like PA-ish area beef. Like not and like yeah, I don't know like. It's all like again. I love it. I got love for everybody. Like I definitely like show love to everyone. Like
what about like the bin beefs? Is there bin beefs?
I've never seen any bin. But I've heard stories of bin. I don't know if it was in the area per se, but like I've heard like I think in Pittsburgh like a bin fight. Like my buddy Sean was telling me like a fight going down at the bins. Like I don't know if it was over or like Pirates hat or something like a bat giveaway bobblehead or something.
Sean was telling you this?
Yeah, Sean Flynn.
We got to shout out Sean. Get over here.
Sean Flynn.
What's up?
Get in here. We're in the hotel room right now.
From Monarch.
How you guys doing?
Sean. What's your last name?
Sean Flynn, Pittsburgh, PA.
Instagram is Monarch.
Yeah, Shop Monarch Studios.
Shop Monarch Studios. So you're about the bin fight, dude.
I don't know about the bin fight, honestly.
What?
I thought you were talking about the bin. Something.
It wasn't a percent. I mean, no.
They go down though. They
bins,
go down.
The bins are interesting.
I heard that their bins out there are more of like a war zone.
You gotta get.
There's more pick. I think there's more.
What about
pickers.
some beefs?
I don't think there's really beefs. It's definitely changing. There are more and more people that are going there. The summer's going to be crazy there when all the kids come back
school,
from school.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? I know some homies in Vancouver, pickers that do the thrifts. And they're like, they get pissed. They're like, oh, Christmas holidays are here. Fuck, thrifts are fucked.
Yeah.
Like, summer holidays
It is
are
what
here.
it is. I honestly like it because more stuff gets pulled out around the city.
More out?
I mean, you just see a lot more stuff. I swear, like people will find more stuff around that time. The summers have been crazy.
I guess
a lot of good stuff comes from Pittsburgh. Yeah,
there's the mentality like the thrifts will be packed with people, but then there's also the mentality of like, now I got an army of kids to go sell me shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
They got to sell them to someone afterwards, so stuff always comes around.
Yeah,
for sure. I like the summers.
The more you
I definitely do. And then the fleas, because we don't have fleas all year round, so
that's a big difference between the East and West Coast.
Yeah, the fleas are all.
Yeah, we don't get the fleas. Like you can flea year all round here, which for months it's too cold.
They're a big deal when you can start going to them again.
Yeah.
Have you noticed? Because you have a store now, right?
Yeah.
How long you got your store?
Almost a year, man.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, because we were just doing appointments this past December, but then really kicked off in May. So, I mean, a year in my head. It's been full time a year.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Do you, like, weather's a bitch, eh, for retail?
I mean, yes and no. Yeah.
Have you gone through, like, some big snowstorms where, like, nobody goes outside?
Yeah, but then, like, those days will be randomly great, too. Because, like, a couple people come out that, like, and then they're there for a while because it's nasty outside. And, they, like, I don't know. It's good and bad. I wouldn't necessarily say it's, like, on the weather. Okay. People are used to it, man.
Vancouver's weird because, like, we're like moderate temperature like Seattle where like it doesn't snow that much. So when it does snow, people are like so scared, man.
Yeah.
They're like
you definitely don't get me wrong, you definitely notice it some days for sure. But like things just people buy different stuff. A lot more outerwear and crew necks and stuff like that. Not as many t-shirts, flannels, jackets, denim.
That's true.
Denim jackets.
You get to sell the outerwear. It switches it up. You're not just selling
it's cool because like you're actually like people are able to come and like do styler stuff, like not just buy t-shirts, like buy a whole outfit, and
that's
a lot more layers and stuff on the East, which is nice.
The Gore-Tex.
You got any conspiracy theories, man?
I don't. No, I'm pretty. I mean, no, I'm not gonna talk conspiracy theories.
Well, I want to talk quickly though about you bought a building.
I did, man.
Shout out to you buying a building.
Yeah, I bought into a building with a family member, like into it in a way is the best way to put it.
Still,
but it's been awesome.
You put some money in.
I did, yeah.
Good investment.
It's been fantastic so far, for sure, yeah.
All you kids listening out there, take notes. Go buy property.
Don't blow
your money on $700 Marvel t-shirts, please.
I mean, the thing is it's different.
Unless I'm selling them, then you should blow your money.
Yeah,
I feel like it's more
only with us.
In those situations, the only way it's possible is you're usually in areas that are like or maybe off the beaten path at first. So it's more like a long-term play. But I love it, and the town's amazing there. It's an old town, Pittsburgh, so it's like exactly the vibe I want.
Yeah.
Like I had like a cool antique store. I want people to come in. They're like, because I have a lot of antiques and stuff there, also, not just vintage. It's everything.
Cool.
So, because
but that's the play. You should always be thinking the long term play.
Love it. Yeah.
You gotta think that way. And if you're like able to sustain your business in a store that you're thinking long term,
I'm going to do it my whole life. So
yeah,
I know
it's already making you money now. Think about how much more it'll make you once that neighborhood pushes to where you are.
I'll do this until I die. Like even if I had another job and I would retire, I would still always do this on the side. I love it. So
yeah,
I'd rather invest everything I have into it now because I know exactly, like you said, it's gonna pay off. It's been a crazy year, but like amazing.
That's awesome
for sure. Yeah. I'm happy to be out in California.
Yeah.
So what was your perception of first time at the Bowl?
I mean, so much. Product's just crazy. Number one, it's so cool to see everything in one spot.
So
it is.
much.
Like, you're seeing everything,
Pretty much.
Back home, like, you see a David Bowie t-shirt, every once in a while. Then today you see, like, 10. And they're all different, and some you haven't seen before. And, like, the prices are different. Product. I mean, it's just I think you gotta go and be ready to get after like what you want in the first place. Like, don't get carried away by all of it. Just go and find what you want to find.
Yeah.
You get lost in the sauce.
My first experience, like I came probably 2 or 3 times before I sold there.
Oh man!
And I remember like just tripping out. I swear to God, I probably bought. Or like I probably lost on 50% of the buys.
Yeah,
first Rosebowl.
That's what I was worried about.
I'm looking at that myself too.
Because I was just like too overwhelmed and too hyped, and then buying all this weird stuff that I would have easily bought back home, but that was like. That was just a bad size. I bought up those jeans. Yeah. They're wicked jeans, but they were like the wrong size.
It goes so many different ways.
It's just
so
stupid.
Shit.
Yeah. I definitely want to like keep coming out here a lot more often. I mean, because the product is just amazing at the end of the day. It's just different. So
I mean, and you can if you come, you can sell some stuff maybe.
I like seeing all the workwear. Like the Carhartt was really cool to see that and all the denim, because we don't see that in the quantities back home. Yeah. Fair prices on those too. Seriously.
Totally. Yeah, you just gotta know who to hit.
You
guys I need some pet peeves.
Pet peeves?
Pet peeves of the vintage game.
Oh, pet peeves of the vintage game. Oh, well, number one, like, just came to me immediately. Like, people that pick and, like, post pictures of the item in the thrift for sale. But not only that, like, you can see the price tag on it and be like, oh, I got this t-shirt for $199. Vintage, blah, blah, $40. Like, bro, I saw where you got it. You're like, come on, dude. Take some time. At least, like, take an angle.
I'd rather just be outside on the floor.
Yeah, like, I don't know. That's that's amateur hour. Like,
the live picks. That's like a newer thing in the last couple of years for sure. Like, the bin picks, of course. And then
the bin picks are flat. I mean, some people
I like the flex, though. I like the flex. Yeah. I like seeing it when someone finds like
do you,
a million
have you guys
tees.
heard about people bringing shit into the bins to get the pick?
Yeah, so I've heard rumors.
That's what I've been hearing. Yeah,
I've
for
heard
sure.
rumors too.
Which I definitely, like,
that's a weak flex.
Come on.
That's a weak
flex.
And then you pay for it too. Like, after, like, oh, I just paid.
Yeah, otherwise you're like,
you gotta
getting
pay
caught
for
stolen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh no, let me get that t-shirt.
If I see someone, I'm diving.
People thieve from the bins all the time, don't they?
Yes,
I mean, I'm not. I do. By the way, just stance on stealing. I do not condone stealing of any kind, whether it's from your homie or fucking Walmart.
Yeah. Right back at you. Yeah.
So even stealing from the bins is still stealing.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Kids listening, remember that.
Don't steal, man.
But like, people take a backpack in. They take if they only find one T-shirt, they throw it in the fucking bag and they leave. Right?
Yeah. When Jason and I were just in Vegas, like Vegas is a crazy place too. But like we were in the Savers and like we seen a guy. One person literally ran out the door with clothes. Like, straight up ran out the door, and another guy was, like, stuffing shit in a backpack, and, like, you're just like, what the hell? Like, damn, this is crazy.
From the bins?
This was not regular Savers.
Okay.
So it was crazy. Dude, like, literally ran out the door with clothes.
Did you guys come up at the Savers in Vegas?
Jace found a Supreme MC Escher t-shirt for, like,
nice,
it was 50%
dog.
off. Yeah. Dollar fit shot, Jace.
160?
160.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Jace comes. I feel like when Jason's with me, like he comes up, we come up together. But we find shit. Like it's random. Like
trunk stuff or
trunks. So we like when he came. Yeah, Jace came to see me in Philly, and we just kind of like went hard and just stuffed the trunk a couple times and found shit we like.
There's another way of stealing at the bins too. To steal out of I feel like you see people that take out of other people's carts. The people that
that's even worse.
Yeah. But I mean, until it's checked out, like people are ruthless. Like it's crazy.
Technically, as far as the bins are concerned, they're like, that's not stealing.
Yeah,
right.
It's just like you're teething off another.
You know what also is interesting about the bins is I've noticed that people that would normally just go for like Victoria's Secret or like Patagonia, North Face, newer age stuff that's worth money on eBay. Now they're starting to also grab the vintage a lot more. Yeah. And it's like it's funny because that's a pet peeve of mine because I don't like I should buy that, especially because I do this full time. I should buy like pink and like random things if I could throw them up and on eBay, but I don't. It's not what I'm into, so I just I leave it there. But it's not that it's a pet peeve. It's just kind of it's interesting for me.
Well, you got to focus your energy too because like you can make money at one way, but if you're gonna do it another way that you enjoy, you might as well do it that way.
Exactly. So that's
come on, if you find like an Arc'teryx jacket, you're gonna take it.
Obviously, yeah. Okay. No, I just mean like new age. I mean, I'll buy North Face, new age North Face, of course, especially if it's something that I'll wear. But we don't like regularly carry it in the shop. That or Columbia jackets or anything like that. I like them, but it just doesn't fit the mold.
Yeah.
It'd just be more of an online.
There's mad Columbia back east.
There's so much Columbia.
Columbia sucks though.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't resell.
I like those bugaboos.
Yeah, the old nice ones.
They're nice.
They're cool.
The old ones are nice.
There's like a small percentage of Columbia that works.
Yeah.
The bugaboos go for money?
I swear, like $100. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I'll take it.
I think my parents bought me bugaboos when I was a kid.
They probably got them still.
Bugaboo sounds like a song. What is that?
Any other pet peeves?
I was just thinking. I thought of another. I'm trying to think now. I don't know, like the pricing too. Just like, especially just going to Rosebowl now because like on Instagram people like will cut up on you for pricing and be like, first of all, like a lot of prices like educate yourself, but then like seeing today it was like a whole new world. Like people are asking outrageous prices for like things that shouldn't even be priced that high, and then like. Okay, like you want 60 on this. It's like it's really only worth like 20 or 30. I was like, what'd you do like 30 or 40? And they're like, no. And like you just put it back and walk away like disgruntled. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like people are, all right, I'll do 40. It's like, but you should have like you're here to sell. You have it's not like you have 10 things on the rack. You have a lot of these people had hundreds of pieces. Like let's work some deals. Like totally. Let's work some deals here. I'm always down to work a deal. If you grab a couple of things or whatever, like I don't know. It's just I don't know how it goes. It's interesting for me
because there's so much product, so you would think that it would be
right.
Like you know what I mean?
Right.
Because East Coast is like, hey, you find one T-shirt and it's like that. Now out here, there's millions of them, and it's cheaper on the East Coast for that one T-shirt. When there's no other T-shirts in the whole fleet. So in terms of like, you know what I mean? Instead, you have to hustle to get there to get that T-shirt first because so different. Like this was, it's a
like you were saying before, like you don't even know what to ask prices on because you kind of get jaded. You're like, like, there's so much selection and there's so much heat, and you kind of get in this mindset where you assume all the prices are going to be way overtaxed, or at a retail level.
Yeah,
So you like stop asking, but you never know when you find that one that's like today, like the guy's sleeping in the next room, he got the Iron Maiden camo sleeve for $200.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like maybe you'd look at that and go, "I'm not even gonna ask."
Right.
Yeah.
Fuck. Glad you asked on that one. You know what I mean?
Oh no, that 100%.
So it's kind of like you gotta just keep going.
No, 100%. At the end of the day, I mean, I thought it was fair. The more you talk to people, like I was surprised by some things for sure.
Yeah.
You definitely get steals and nice product that you don't see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta be patient.
But I was surprised. I didn't see as much fire wrestling stuff as I would expect, because that's what I was looking for. A lot of my homies back home like want wrestling gear. Like, and I got that one shirt from you, that rock shirt that's really cool. But it's probably the coolest one I got on the West Coast. And then your guys' prices are different for wrestling too. You guys are way up on wrestling compared to the East Coast for sure.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like it's crazy.
Yeah, double out here. It's like, and that's not with everything else. So it's interesting.
Like everything hit. I mean, everything's more expensive out here. Like gas is like double the price. Like food, like
true.
Good
point.
The vintage.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to talk about. Were you on the WWVSE?
I was not.
Okay.
Worldwide Vintage Stat Bag.
Frankie's got
over here.
Frankie's got to
go over here.
Thanks
Get in here for a minute.
We got Frankie go in the building.
What up?
So. You roll up with Jace, and then you roll up. You rolled up to the storage.
Yeah,
kind of surprised me. I was like, "Shit, where'd Frankie come from?"
Yeah, that was the first time I met Frankie in person.
Yeah, I've kind of just been low key. I don't know, for the people who do know me, like I used to work around too, and then when I left, I kind of went straight laced, got a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah,
and then full-time student too, so it's like kind of hard to do everything I want to.
Are you in school right now?
I still at school, dude. Fucking took a while. For people who are listening, like if you're going to school, focus on that shit. Do not slack. Do not do what I did. But I mean, if you're in school, fuck it. That's I'm trying to finish that shit, And so now I like with the job, I kind of have some more leeway of like more time on the weekend. So I finally came out the cave, and Jace and Casey were out to the ball, and I was like, I'll roll with y'all, whatever y'all doing.
But yeah, so I want to get to the beginning of this because you guys only know each other from a Facebook group.
Yeah, so this group is called Worldwide Vintage Snapback Exchange. It's kind of been changed to sales because we do more vintage. But the group was started like I want to say 2010, 2012, around that era by this one kid, and his whole idea was to weed out the scammers, the bad kids, the people that were just being shitty, because at the time, if you guys know snapbacks and tattoos, Tiger, they made hats huge. These hats snapbacks got huge, and people were selling them for insane amounts of money. Some rare ones were getting out there and stuff, and so this group was made so we could weed out the people, and so we basically the best of the best, I guess you could say. And then as the years go by, this kid just became honestly the biggest scammer because he started getting into t-shirts, started getting into Supreme, started getting into shoes, and he was proxying this stuff, and then he just stopped. No one knew where he went. He just went silent. And so our buddy Santos, who's like kind of like the head of the dude, he's still the head, and
Is Santos the guy who I bought all the cops' hats off?
No, that's Eric. Okay. His last name is Santos, though. His last name is Santos, so that's what you're thinking. Yeah. So, and so he kind of got a couple buddies and like rebranded it, refurbished it, and like made it what most people know about for a while, and then it kind of died off again. And then I'm kind of the resurgence, trying to bring it. But dude, for like years I was messaging like Casey on Facebook, Jace on Facebook. Yeah. Like messaging each other, eBay links, like shit we found at the thrift stores and like.
Yeah, because it was just basically a community. It wasn't all about selling shit. It was just to like, it was like chop it up.
Yeah. Learn about like the hat styles and like what was more rare, and like it was cool because like new stuff would pop up like all the time. Like, oh, I haven't seen that script, or I haven't seen that color, but like. And even you would find stuff and you'd be like, yo, I can't wait to like show everyone because like this is never. I remember I found like the Sixers one with the gold on it. And, like,
dude, when you
like,
found
that, people like, what? I never seen that. Like that never popped up. Like,
see, because for us, like I've explained to people that don't get it. Like people are like, why it's snapbacks? Like here's the thing, like the hats existed, but not everyone fucking wore them, and so they just went away. Yeah. And so who the fuck knows where they went away? And so that was makes it hard. So back then there wasn't social media that we could catalog, and so there is catalog, so we know stuff exists, but we just don't see it in person. Totally. So we've done the research. Like our dudes in the group have done the research, have the catalogs, have seen like orders and old shit like that. So
catalogs and stuff.
Yeah, so it's cool to see that stuff. We know that stuff should be existing, but it just hasn't been seen in the eye. So that's why we're like, yo, that's one of one, or there's like 3 of those, because where the fuck are they? We don't know, and those are the only ones we've seen online so far. So yeah, but
and then. But in like that group, I didn't get in the group till way late.
Yeah,
I got in the group like only
like a couple years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Yeah, we've always wanted you in the group. Believe it.
I don't know about that. Bullshit. You guys were like, "Fuck this guy, keep him out of the group." I was like, kept the arms.
There's like certain people that got kicked out for
we've always. It's funny because we always talk about Drew, because Drew was always like Evans and Frank was always the dudes that supplied us.
Had the shit.
Because like we even talk about you guys now. Like, dude, it's so funny that. You used to go as Evans and Frank, and like
you look on YouTube,
Google
the videos.
search, YouTube.
Yeah.
You see them like, what? They had all this.
But like, it's sick to look back and be like, that group, because you guys were all hyped to like share with each other. You probably dug harder just to share. Just to be like, I found this.
And it was cool, like trading. Like if you were a Dolphin, like the one who Dave is like a big Gators fan. Like, people would always send, like send and swap shit out. It was cool.
So that whole dynamic built the business. And pushed the fucking trend and pushed the hype of snapbacks.
Yeah, and I definitely tried to just be as passionate as we could, because that's what it was all about. Like we chose dudes like. See, that was different. Dudes wanted to be a part of us because they're like, man, my collection's sick. I have rare shit. Yeah. But honestly, it was more of like do you really care about this, or is this your business? Is this going to be like
well, just with
about?
anything? It's like card collectors. They want to go to a card convention to like nerd out about cards.
Exactly,
you need to nerd out with somebody, or else what's the fun of it?
Yeah,
nerding out's the best part.
Yeah, exactly. You need to share your nerdiness.
And then recently, dude, I've been nerding out so hard with my friends again, like meeting up, like messaging people that like we haven't messaged in a while because it kind of died out, and then. But like people have been there, the snapback collectors have been there. They've just been low key. Like,
dude, I feel like the snapback like thing on Instagram like laid the groundwork for like vintage. Not on the, like remember it was like snapbacks and sneakers. Like that was what it was, and then it evolved obviously into more gear. Now it's a lot of all about the t-shirts, but it was like the big dudes on Instagram vintage were snapback heads.
Yeah,
like,
dude, if it wasn't for hats, I wouldn't know about shirts.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know about jerseys and shit.
No, I don't think the business would be where it is now because it's like it's morphed and moved into what it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I mean, people like replicated it. Like people made fakes. People did everything.
Yeah.
So
and they do. And like you said, what just a hat just sold for like crazy numbers.
Oh yeah. So Drew was like asking me like, so what's a crazy number? And this like, there's this like, if people who know the hats, like it's a Logo Athletic double shark tooths. First generation, so it's got this different colorway of this other. So it exists, but this dude has a different colorway. Just sold for I think $1,200.
Yeah,
and that's fucking nuts.
What would you say is like the rarest hat? Like
that's probably that one at the time right now.
Yeah, because the Dodgers. Well, the MLB stuff with the license, there's not many dope MLB snapbacks because New Era had the license, so like they didn't get as many of the cool scripts, and so, like they were limited runs.
And so what people, and then also with that, what me and my buddy found out too was like MLB players only wear plain logos.
Yeah, exactly.
On field, they're only wearing plain logos. So all the scripts, all the shadows, all this shit, like no one wore them because everyone the players weren't wearing it. I want to be like the player.
Yeah, I want what Griffey has.
That's why that's why football, all that starter shit worked because they were wearing the gear.
They had the shit exactly. They were wearing look at the '90s sidelines. Like you got the Minnesota Vikings like coaches and shit. Like Buddy Ryan, the Eagles coach. He's got a starter satin on. Another coach has like an Apex One crazy jacket. Like they were dripped out and like they had the craziest shit. Like,
and then you got MLB
shark
stuff.
tooth hats, scripts on. Like,
that's why MLB stuff is it's worth some money, but like just certain stuff is worth the loot. It's crazy. Like
it's
some
hard
like
to get.
Like the tiger stuff is still kind of hard to find. And I don't know, dude. It's
harder like the smaller market teams too. Like they made a gang of Yankee stuff.
What about those? So have you ever had any of those hieroglyphics hats?
Yeah, so I saw one this weekend at the bowl, and then I've always seen them, never owned one.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
What was that other series? Was it Starter Image series where they just had the pictures of?
So for a good moment, those still kind of go for loot.
They do.
I've never seen a Dodgers. We've quote unquote seen one that like from a catalog, like someone posted online or somewhere, but I've yet to see it in person.
Who's got all the catalogs?
Someone
in the group has. I think it's Malachi. I believe. I believe it's Malachi and like Santos and like random people have like found them like in their like searching like through like old places. They've just like look at my old books and like take the books and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's also you know what it is? It's Boneyard Chicago has stuff. That's
so I heard Boneyard is going pulling all vintage.
Oh really?
They're going 100% streetwear hype.
I did not hear anything about that. Wow.
Someone told me that this weekend.
That's crazy. So
I was out there. They didn't have much vintage in the store.
Yeah, they were down to like a rack or something.
Yeah. They always have cool shit though. They're mad cool people. So.
Yeah, no, we know those guys.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah. I mean,
I've never been out to their store, but they've been like in the scene. They're OG, man.
Yeah, I was in Chicago 2 summers ago. I went to the OG store, and then I went to the new one last time I was there, and they're both super nice. Like Tones the Man.
Yeah, they're part of our group as well. Like
Well, those
I remember hearing them like way back because you guys did an interview with. I forget who you did an interview with, or maybe it was another. Because you used to do like interviews for people, right? Way back.
Like on the blog or something?
Yeah, on a blog or something, no?
Maybe.
Yeah, so I don't know. I remember, and then that's how I heard about them was like him digging like way back in the day, like.
Jesse went out and met those guys to do some digs, I think, back
so, yeah.
What was it? Fidel Snapstraw was the original name.
His name's Fidel Snapstraw.
They used to have, they find crazy shit. I bet they went to some interesting, some hoods of Chicago.
Oh, for sure. They would have had come-ups, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the snapback game really ran deep for like a couple years. Like,
oh man.
Yeah, I had a dude go out. We've had friends go out all the way to overseas in Asia where they're manufactured and bought boxes of that shit and then supplied their store for like a year or two before the hype died down. Once the hype died down, you couldn't really stay open.
Yeah. Now, it's like retail. You can sell a hat for $20-$30, or it's like a rare collectible.
Yeah,
that's it. There's no middle ground anymore.
There's no middle ground.
There was like
anymore.
levels for a long time,
It was like 30, 40, 50, 75, 80, like 150, 300, like
yeah.
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, that was nuts. It's cool. I like seeing it again. Being on Instagram, seeing all the hats that pop up again.
Like a Raiders hat will never not be cool. Like that'll always be cool.
Yeah,
and like the retros have never been anything like it. So like the OGs always they'll be desired.
It was the one thing that was always sad about that NWA movie.
Yeah, I was like, come on, dude. Like,
they fucked it up. With the wardrobe.
Yeah,
that's
that was
terrible.
the one thing. Yeah, the one that we all do. That I remember when that movie came out. It was the one thing we all said was like, come on, like you got the outfits, like kinda. But you couldn't get the hat.
Yeah, that's the one thing about those movies.
Disappointing.
And I heard they had sourced like vintage, like that vintage Dickies and Ben Davis. So like they're wearing vintage stuff in the thing. But
There's a couple things. There's like a couple times they're wearing satin jackets that look like the wrong sheen. You're like, that's off.
It's like the NFL like Reebok. Like, come on, it's not starting, bro. Like.
See?
That's like so important for somebody in the scene to watch a movie. Like when I watched.
It's so annoying.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Mid-90s, you guys know that mid-90s Jonah Hill movie that came out?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a skate flick.
Yeah.
That was like a really good wardrobe.
Yeah, they're
wearing all period pieces, like authentic. And they didn't go, sometimes they'll go over the top.
Right.
To make it like so obviously that time period that you're like, it's just not believable because.
Taco Bell cups are original.
Yeah.
That's it.
That
movie was great. Yeah, and I noticed that too. Like all the like his shirts and stuff are like pretty on point. So
totally.
It's pretty sick. Yeah, I gotta love that stuff.
Yeah.
You got any shout outs? We're gonna cut it.
Oh man, I try to do like a million shout outs. Like,
yeah, dude, run it up.
Oh man, shout out to my family, my mom, dad, sister, my girlfriend. Shout out to Frankie in the building.
WWVSE.
Worldwide Vending Exchange.
So follow at WWVSE. That's we're all there.
Yeah, shout out Jace in the building right now. You know the gang, my guy. Shout out Mike Spitz, Mr. Throwback, and Jordan, JT Beats, my guys. Shout out everyone back in Philly, Suplex crew, gang, my homie Natalie, your homegirl Natalie. God, I feel like I'm gonna forget like people like, oh my god, you didn't shout me Niall. Shout out Niall. I don't know, man. Shout out to F as in Frank for everything. Everyone in LA. Shout
thanks, dude.
Zach and Slobby and Wes for holding it down, and the new cats we met were mad cool.
Much love.
Yeah,
much love.
check out Rare
there.
Vintage. We got some. We're trying to do some more merch on some vintage stuff. So,
what's in the future? Give us.
Yeah, we're trying.
A quick future of Rare Vintage.
Yeah, we're trying to do obviously more merch, like printing on like vintage, blanks, hats, and Russell and Champion stuff. Just like reusing vintage stuff and
people vibing on the merch.
Yeah, we're doing like this, like with city colorways and stuff. Like people have been like, "Oh, can you make my city with?" And that's cool because like people have been rocking with the page and the brand for like a couple of years. So nice. It's like flattering. And we were like, "Hey, you want to wear my brand?" And feels
good, right?
Yeah, it feels good. So I think I might even do the option for people to like customize. Like, okay, like I want it to be my city in that color, and we'll find a vintage piece and like whip it up for them. So I think that's going to be available. We're going on the new website, been looking at like stores and as an option, but we like I like online. We have a lot of international customers. Like we get a lot of stuff that's like I try to find really obscure and unique pieces that aren't very common in like the sports, like mostly sports stuff, jerseys and like starter jackets. But we'll dabble with some pop culture stuff and try to find something that's cool, like and we're trying to keep that going and bond and build with all the people in the vintage world. There are a lot of good people out here.
There are. Thank you, man, for coming on the show, dude.
Yeah,
I appreciate
you.
I got to shout out Pittsburgh one time. Too.
Yeah, shout
out Pittsburgh. All the family back in Pittsburgh.
Black and yellow.
You know what it is.
All right,
everyone.
And shout out Drew. Good people.
Shout out Drew.
Thank you,
Frank.
We are out.